So the reason I decided to join the Marines was actually a long time coming since I was little. I actually thought about the Navy from like 7, 8 years old. And then when I was in high school, the Marine Corps kind of just kept coming in from recruiters and things like that. And I ended up seeing some of my friends go before or after I graduated. And just seeing that uniform and what they accomplished was a big thing. So that's one of the reasons I joined, but also to make myself better. I wanted to do more than just go to college or do something like that, so I ended up doing something for my country and for myself. 18 years old, going to boot camp was a wide awakening. I remember stepping off that bus and seeing these guys with green hats and crisp uniforms, and they looked pretty scary at 18 years old. It was pretty tough. I would have to say that my time at Oak Creek playing football helped me out a lot. Joining the Marine Corps, you want to deploy, you want to go out and do your part. So I ended up calling my mom and said, "Hey, I'm volunteering to go overseas." She thought I was crazy. And when I told her that, she's like, "Well, what do you mean you're going?" I said, "I'm going to Iraq for a couple months." So leading into that, I was picked to go out of 100, and there was 135 Marines in my unit. So it was pretty nice to be able to do my part. My unit was a military police unit. So the time we spent there, those 8 months, we ended up doing a lot of convoys between bases, between Al Asad, Bahariya, a couple in Baghdad. Those convoys were pretty much doing detainee handling. So we had prisoners of war, things like that, bringing them back to base and putting them in cells. We were shot at a few times, so we had a couple shots taken at us, and that was pretty much just what we encountered. There's a little bit more, but I'd rather not go into it. I was a PFC for quite a while. I ended up getting promoted to Lance Corporal in October of 2009 during my deployment. And that it was just an experience that I would never forget, because it was in country with all the Marines that I deployed with. So the guys that were by my side for months on end. And that was pretty memorable. That was probably one of my highlights of being in the Marine Corps, was having that experience in country. So coming back from Iraq, I would have to say was a relief. You made it this entire time, and now you get to go home, get to see your family, hold them and hug them, and not just talk to them on the phone. So after I came back from Iraq, I had about a year and a half left in service. I came back in October and ended up kind of just going around having fun with friends, kind of getting back in the swing of things. Went back to my old unit as a military police officer, and then ended up meeting my wife, Angela, a couple months after that. Me and Angela, we actually, it's kind of crazy. So we have gone to school together since first grade. So we've known each other our entire lives. Elementary school, middle school, and high school, we never really talked. I knew who she was, but it was kind of crazy because Facebook was big, but it's not as big as it is now. And I came home on leave one time, and she kind of hit me up on Facebook, and she asked if we wanted to go out, and it was actually the same weekend as one of my best friends, Trevor, a vet, who was also a Marine. I ended up going out for his birthday, and it was the end of that story from there, and we've been married for about 8 years now. So
when Mike and I started dating and I found out he was in the Marine Corps, I was kind of intrigued and didn't know what to expect. You kind of always hear things about guys in the military, but I was really proud of him, and he was super proper and opened doors, which isn't something you see all the time. I wasn't going to let him being in the military stop me from how I felt about him. Some people kind of learn guys are in the military and they kind of run away or get intimidated, and I'm not that type of person.
So we got a little family, and we're actually in the process right now of buying our first home, and hopefully to close at the end of November. In 2014, I was diagnosed with an acoustic neuroma, which is a benign brain tumor. And during my time off of work, it was about a year, I was at home. I had nothing else to do. I kind of started cooking and baking and finding my own niche, and baking runs in my blood. My grandfather was a baker for 50, 60 years. And it's kind of something that I jumped into, and all of a sudden I brought a cheesecake to a family function, and everyone loved it. And I'm like, well, wow, maybe that's something I can do.
There are some pretty damn good cheesecakes. I'm not gonna lie. We've had people try them from New York, and they've had them, and they're like, oh my God, they're amazing. I don't know what he does that's so different. I have no idea, but they're good.
I would say that my passion is the baking, and that's what I want to get into, is just have my own business. And I feel like the Marine Corps set me up for success in that area. Veterans Day and Memorial Day are pretty important to me. Obviously, being a veteran, it's something that I get to be a part of, and I'm still here to enjoy that. Memorial Day is for those guys that didn't make it home, but it's just it's just very surreal for me. You know, I get to sit back and I get to be home. You know, I did my part, but I don't really, you know, take that as me doing really anything. It was just something that I did. It was more for you guys, you know, for people that are here stateside, and we're all able to enjoy that. I find it just a day for me to relax. I get with some Marines at my work because Veterans Day and the Marine Corps birthday are within a day of each other. And every year at work, I actually end up bringing a Marine Corps birthday cake to work for all the Marines that are there and for veterans too. But for me, it's just one of those days that, you know, you get to sit back and reflect on people that didn't make it home and the people that are still standing here.
A couple years ago, I had to explain to our daughter, who was 3 at the time, what Veterans Day meant, because she woke up in the morning and asked where Daddy was, and he went to a high school to do a Veterans Day assembly. And she asked me what it meant for Daddy to be a veteran, and how do you explain to kids what a veteran is. It's pretty hard, but I told her the best way I could. What so many men and women have done and are doing every single day for us is hard for kids to understand. But I told her it's a day to honor our soldiers. She asked me what it meant for people to be soldiers, and I told her that they're superheroes, like Captain America, Iron Man, Batman, Superman, all of them. Her face lit up and she said, Daddy's like a superhero, and he is, just like all the other veterans out there. Her daddy served our country, and I want her to be proud of that when she's older and understands more of what veterans actually mean. I'm so proud of my husband and every single battle he's faced and is still facing this day. And it's hard for kids and for anybody who doesn't know a veteran to really get it, to get what they go through being in the military and then having to relearn life afterwards. Because it's not just you walk out, you go to a new job, you start a family. It's not that. It's relearning everything that you were taught, pretty much. But to me, it means just to be proud and be proud of our country that we have these people who do this for us and who give their lives for us.